The strange thing about humiliation is that it rarely arrives all at once. Usually it comes quietly. A comment here, a look there, a hesitation before introducing you to someone important. And if you ignore enough of those moments, one day you wake up and realize the people you love have slowly turned you into someone. The strange thing about humiliation is that it rarely arrives all at once. Usually it comes quietly. A comment here, a look there, a hesitation before introducing you to someone important. And if you ignore enough of those moments, one day you wake up and realize the people you love have slowly turned you into someone they need to hide. I was standing in my garage in Portland, restoring a 1967 Mustang, when my phone buzzed on the workbench beside me. Ellie. My daughter rarely called during the day. I smiled before answering. That part still hurts to admit. "Hey, kid," I said, wiping grease from my hands with an old cloth. "Everything okay?" Silence. Then, "Dad? Are you busy?" There was something in her voice. Tight. Careful. The kind of voice people use when they've rehearsed something painful. I leaned against the workbench. "What's wrong?" Another pause. Then she exhaled. "I need to ask you something, and I need you not to make this harder than it already is." Funny thing about sentences like that. Your body knows before your mind does. Somewhere deep in my chest, something already started sinking. "Okay," I said, quietly. "It's about the wedding." The garage suddenly felt colder. Rain tapped softly against the side windows. Classic Portland weather. Gray skies, oil smell, old music humming softly from the radio. "What about it?" Another silence. Then she said it. "I think it would be better if you didn't attend." I didn't speak. Not immediately. Because sometimes the brain refuses to process what it just heard. You search for another meaning, a hidden explanation, anything. But there wasn't one. "I'm sorry," she rushed out. "Dad, please understand. It's just, Trevor's family is very formal." Formal. Interesting word. People use words like formal when they're trying not to say judgmental. "They're traditional," she continued quickly. "His father owns investment properties all over the East Coast, and his mother's side is old Connecticut money, and—" "Ellie." She stopped. "What are you trying to say?" The silence this time lasted long enough for me to hear my own breathing. Then, finally, "You just don't fit their world." There it was. Not loud, not cruel, not even angry. Which somehow made it worse. Because she believed. I sat down slowly on the stool beside the workbench. "Ellie." Her voice softened. "Dad, please don't take this personally." I almost laughed. There are very few ways to take "I don't want you at my wedding" personally. Is kind of the default. I looked around the garage slowly. At the old Mustang. At the shelves full of tools. At the framed photo of Ellie sitting on my shoulders at Cannon Beach when she was 7 years old. I had raised her in this garage. After my wife died in 2011, this place became everything. Homework at the side table. Pizza on Friday nights. Music playing while I worked double shifts restoring cars for people who could afford to treat classics like hobbies instead of survival. Every scraped knuckle in that room had paid for dance lessons, school trips, college tuition, her first apartment. And now I was being edited out of the final photograph because I might look embarrassing beside people with summer
After we
homes.
hung up, I sat in the garage for nearly an hour without moving. The rain got heavier outside. Somewhere in the neighborhood, a dog barked. An engine passed slowly on wet pavement. And I kept staring at that photograph on the wall. Ellie, at 7 years old, smiling like I hung the moon itself. The dangerous thing about parenthood is that no matter how old your children get, part of you still remembers who they were before the world taught them hierarchy, before they learned embarrassment, before they started measuring human worth by table settings and last names.
That night, I poured myself a glass of bourbon and sat on the back porch, listening to the rain. Then my phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Trevor Callahan. I stared at the name for several seconds before opening it. Mr. Mercer, I'd appreciate the chance to speak with you privately before the wedding. Ellie doesn't know I'm messaging. Now, that surprised me. I read the text twice, then once more. Finally, I replied. When? The cafe sat on the corner of East Burnside and 12th. Small place. Brick walls. Good coffee. Too many plants. Trevor was already there when I arrived. Tall, clean-cut, dark navy coat. The kind of posture expensive schools teach men before they teach them finance. He stood when he saw me. Mr. Mercer? I nodded once. Trevor. We shook hands. Firm grip. Nervous eyes. Interesting combination.
You wanted to talk? I said. He glanced toward the window briefly before speaking. I owe you an apology. That wasn't what I expected. For what? For Ellie. I studied him quietly. She shouldn't have asked you not to come. No, I said, calmly. She shouldn't have. He looked uncomfortable. Good. Discomfort meant conscience.
I only found out yesterday that she actually called you.
That caught my attention.
You didn't know? I knew she was worried about appearances with my family, he admitted, but I thought she was exaggerating. I leaned back slightly. And your family? He sighed. My mother can be difficult. Careful wording again. People with money rarely describe ugly things directly. What does difficult mean? He hesitated. Then, she cares a lot about status. There it was. At least the boy was honest. And what exactly does your mother think I am? I asked. Trevor looked genuinely embarrassed now. She thinks you own an auto shop. I restore classic cars. Yes, sir. Interesting correction. Not accidental. He respected craftsmanship. That mattered more than he probably realized. Then he asked, Did you ever serve in the military? No, that surprised me. A long time ago. What branch? Marines. His expression changed instantly. My grandfather was Marine Force Recon, he said quietly. I nodded once. Good men. Then Trevor looked at me differently, like something had suddenly clicked into place. And that was the moment I realized. This conversation wasn't actually about the wedding. It was about my name. And somehow, Trevor Callahan already knew it.